To everyone, wherever you're watching me from. I thank God we have met once more. I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to have new talk for you guys, and the topic of today is so interesting. So you need to jump into this video to the video end, and you're going to be blessed. So the topic of today is how to get a good partner. So I'm having a great two men in my midst, and I want to introduce this man to you. So on my right hand, I have a pastor called Pastor Osei Tutu Aponsa. He's a pastor from that was Wenchi Inchra, and he's a great man of God. So God bless you, Dad, for being with me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, so I'm having also one um, YouTuber named called Tano TV. But the real name is called Emmanuel Tano or Tano Emmanuel. And thank you for coming to my. So before we will go to everything, I want to invite you to the premises of God. If you don't know God, I'm inviting you to look for God. And today is the day that you need to have God. So God bless you for being with me. Please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, turn on the notification button by subscribing, and you are going to be blessed. So my first question is going to take from our dad. That's our pastor called Osejutu. So dad, my first question about the topic of today that talks about how to get a good partner. My first question is all about what the process that you need to go through before you can get a partner.
All right. Thank you, sir. Process you go through before you get a partner.
What the steps that you need to go
The
through.
steps that you go through. Okay. So I want to say that there are no automatic steps.
Okay.
One, too many cases are not the same. So you have several circumstances and different places. But what I'm saying might be generally what is accepted or good. So in no particular order. Steps of to get a partner. Before you go to the step, make sure that you are mature. Make sure that you are of age. Make sure you are working. Make sure you are gainfully employed. Make sure that you are mentally ready. Because you just don't jump. This thing called marriage and this relationship has a lot of issues. So be ready physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally before you can talk about this thing. So maybe if I have to say one or two steps. Step one, get a job. Yes, get a job. Pray about whoever you're going to, you think that you are in love with, or pray about this journey. Pray about what you intend to do. Let God lead you. Maybe your other questions will bring other things.
So before I go to my brother, I will say something here. By saying, before you need to get your partner, they have a lot of things that you need to go through to be mature in that place. Something like spiritual aspect, the emotional aspect, and the physical aspect, or to get a job. That's what I'm talking about. So,
So getting a job is the financial aspect
yeah,
of
the financial aspect. Okay. So, Daddy, can I ask you to be mature in the spiritual aspect? What are you trying to tell us?
Okay. So I'll add all the other maturities, emotional and everything. So be mature spiritually. See, marriage is not just about. Sometimes when we think about marriage as young people, we think about the sex and then the enjoyment. You think you focus on my brain, I want to get, I want to. So we leave the others. Marriage is difficult work. The devil is against marriage. There could be, as it's some other families, they have altars, whether we like it or not, they have certain things at their backgrounds that could fight against you. Or you yourself, you might have other family issues. So just prepare. Pray about it. That's what I want to say. Pray about it. Pray about the journey you want to go. Pray about the person you are going to get involved with. Pray about everything. Tell God everything. Tell God who you are. You think that you are loving. If you don't have anybody in mind, tell God that this is what you want to venture. God should help you. So emotionally, you should be mature. Relationship, which will lead to marriage, which is not automatic anyway. It's not automatic, but there are so many issues. Now you can't even take good care of yourself. Why do you want to get a burden of adding a lady or a gentleman to this problem? So if you are not mature, if you can't handle basic things in life, basic ups and downs in life, you can't. I don't advise you to add another stress of getting into a relationship. Your girlfriend will go like, today you have not called me, today I have not seen you. Today, when you add all those things to it, it becomes so burdensome. You may not be able to stand those kind of pressures. So you should be mature in all aspects.
Okay, so thank you for giving us this kind of conversation. Okay, so we are going back to, I'm going back to my brother that's called Iman, that was Tano TV. So, bro, I want to ask you, when it comes to being in a relationship or being in a steadying yourself to marriage position, what are the things that you need to, if you get that kind of things, your relationship or your marriage will be soft for you, not that much hard, but it will be soft for you.
Before you set your mind that I want to
You can
marry,
speak like that.
before you want to marry,
Okay.
there are certain things, as you've already said, there are certain things you need to take good care of. Some of some of us may be thinking of beauty, the person have a colorful work, but may regret or reject or may refuse to think about the character of the person. And that has endangered a lot of lives, and that has ruined a lot of families, and then a lot of businesses, and a lot of careers. So before one can think, say, I want to marry, you must know the character of the person. Sometimes even the person that you have been living with for a longer time, that person, you know the character. You know if this person becomes angry, you know what to do. So if you marry, sometimes marrying a stranger or a person that you don't know, that thing can also affect.
So, to your definition about what I asked, you're trying to tell us you need to marry the person. You need to, can you tell us the specific people you need to marry when it comes to looking for a good partner?
Okay, what I can say,
Okay.
I mean, that's my quote, my idea. In the people that you are living with in the community or in the church, because such people you have been working with them for almost, let's say, 10 years, even from your infancy root. Yeah, you've been working with them. If this person become angry, you know what to do. You get what I'm trying to put across. If this person becomes angry, or if this person is in this mood, you know what to do. But if I go out and then marry a different person, in quote, a person who I'm not related to, I don't know much more about the person, and that person becomes angry, what am I going to do? And what am I going to do to calm the person? Because I don't know that person, and then there is nothing that I can do to calm that person, and then that marriage, it may take some time before things will work, or each of them will know each other temperament very well.
Okay.
Let me come in to
Okay.
let me help my brother or add to what he's saying. So I think he says saying that you should marry a friend. It's one point which is very, very important in relationships, which will lead to marriage. I'm saying which will lead to marriage or which might lead to marriage because not all relationships should end in marriage. And you need to study each other. It's possible it will work. Sometimes it doesn't work how we think.
Okay.
Maybe that's not the plan of God for us. So he's saying you should marry a friend. It's very important. You need to marry somebody you know, somebody you have been with. Say you've gone to school, you've been at the same church, you have friends together. The person could be someone you talk to or not even talking to, like somebody who's a bit distant. And you don't have to look far, even though it varies, but I think that you don't have to look very far from your jurisdiction or territory. Don't look too far away, thinking that you have to get this time, this time. No. Those people around you, you have one of them that you can marry. I don't I don't doubt that God has a plan for you concerning marriage. Like God has somebody for you.
Somebody specific.
Yes, I don't doubt it 100%. But it doesn't automatically work all the time. You see, the God, what if the person died along the way? Does it mean that you won't marry? God allows, He permits us to make choices
So
when it
then,
comes to this.
for what you are trying to tell us today, I want to ask this question.
Yeah.
People always used to come out with this kind of caption by saying, I've been living holiness for a long time, so, and I'm about to marry. I need somebody who also is holiness. Is it good for you to have that kind of mentality in mind?
If you can explain holiness, I will.
Okay, somebody says, I have held my virginity for long,
Yeah.
and now I'm on to marry. I'm looking for somebody who also is in the same kind of situation that I'm.
Okay. Well, it is good.
Okay.
And it is not too good.
Why?
So I'll try to explain. You see, things happen in life. Yes. There could be some lady who is not necessarily a bad person. Maybe one or two mistakes growing up. Some could have been raped. You see, virginity does not tell a person's character.
Sure.
The fact that she is a virgin or is a virgin does not tell the kind of person he or she will be in marriage. It doesn't define the kind of marriage you're going to have. Yes, it goes beyond just marriage. Virginity is not just it's something that we hold in high esteem. It shouldn't be your topmost priority. That if it's not a virgin, I won't marry. I don't think it should be your topmost priority.
How
Yes.
can you identify that this girl is
It's a virgin or
Okay. For the investigation that we're going through, like, oh, people used to think of when they're about to marry, they used to have this kind of texts by when they go through this text and they will know that okay, this person is a good person. By some it's like I'm coming up with a different situation that comes on our way. When I was in a certain place and this young guy comes to have an advice from by saying he said when they go for the test, they tell them that their blood group are not compatible, so therefore they cannot get to the marriage. But he or that like
the party, yeah, the both of them.
they love they have much love for each another. So should he still be in that kind of situation or leave and go for a different one?
You want my opinion?
Yeah, both.
You might only want to go first.
All you can tell.
So I think it's a no-no. When you go and you are not compatible, God can do all things. But I think that you should spare God this thing and spare your life, spare the kind of children that you're going to have. So you're talking about sickle cell. Okay. The probability that you're going to give birth to a child who is sick is high. And even, you see, so when we want to marry, when you see a nice boy, you think about love. And you don't really have time to think about what's next. You see, we only think about the love, the feelings. We just think about those things, which is not marriage. Marriage proper will come. There will be a time where you even like, is this girl that I was so much in love with? You feel like crashing the head. The girl also, or the lady will also feel like crashing the man. So in all this, there should be something that should bind you. That is why I talked about marrying your friend. Because the anger will come, disappointment will come, unmet expectations. So many things will happen on the way. So it's not just about the love. So if you don't listen to certain advice and you think that you love each other, you go and give birth to a sickle cell child with these issues. Some conditions are even severe, that they get cerebral palsy and other things. Very severe conditions. And it will have to take your time, you have to take your money. One of you would have to drop from work in order to take care of this child. Then gradually the sugar content in your love will be going up. to be going out gradually. Then you say, I'm young, it's ye. God is able to be gracious unto you. In one or two instances, there are people with such situation where get married and then nothing happens. God can be gracious to you, but don't risk your life.
Okay.
Don't risk your life.
Okay, so what say it is
For instance,
okay.
you need to project it to, let's say, 50 years. After projecting, will you be able to love that same person that you now that you found that dad said you know now will you be able to love that same person?
Okay.
And then even maybe you as a man, it may be that because it's no, the probability that you are not going to have children is high. So, and then you, the man, you like playing with children. And then it comes to this point that there is no childbearing. What are you going to do? So these are some of the things you need to check. If you are not compatible
Okay.
in the bloodline or anything, you don't need to rush into it. Don't need to rush into.
So my next question would be a story that I was in social media, so I got a certain story. That's going to be my next question. That's understanding. So this story was about two partners, and they come together to be in a relationship, in a step to marry. Let's say about 10 or 5 months to marry. On their way, and they find this kind of problem. The woman was a struggle woman. When we see somebody struggle, he struggled on his way before he became a rich person, whom she is.
You
And they
mean
were,
a hustler?
yeah, hustler. Okay. Okay, so they were all living in abroad. And you know one thing, the most funny aspect is that this man is also from a rich house. That's that Abama. And in his house or in the man house, they don't have the feeling of respecting woman. They have the mentality of if I speak, don't speak. So yeah, boss, that kind of boss behaviors. So this woman have encounter, this man have encounter with the woman and tell her that I like you and I want to be with you. So therefore we will plan the day for marriage. So they are on their way, being in the kind of impartial one. So and this woman find a certain kind of behavior from this man, like they were sharing ideas. So a man shut her down and said, tell her that if I'm talking, don't speak. Because I'm the man of the house and I'm the head. So don't speak. Whilst they are not married, but this behavior come on. Glory be to God, the woman even stepped down on that night and tell her that okay, you are the man of the house and I'm also myself. So I've choose not to marry you again, to not be with you again. And through the conversation, it makes me understand that the woman loves the man so much. And he come out with this story by writing on the social media. And you know one thing, so in this situation, that what should the woman do?
She has already decided.
He has decided, but in the to the understanding of the woman, let us know that she still loves the man. But he need more ideas from the audience.
So early signs.
Okay.
So she's seen an early sign of what will happen in the future. It's either she lets go or she gets ready for more. So that is maturity. So it's either she lets the love go. It's something she can't stand. If that kind of attitude is something she can't stand, I will not encourage that to continue. That's why I'm saying that there's no all relationship that should end in marriage. So you've seen this behavior, you think that even apart from this, what you have said is just an emotional abuse. When it comes to physical abuse, maybe you're going out with somebody, the person is slapping you, hitting you, and come and beg and buy chocolate and you come back, all those things. If you see signs like that, it's just telling you that there's danger ahead. So if I have to advise her, already she's decided, right? If I have to advise her, it's two things. Either she lets go or she gets ready for more. Maybe the third thing that can happen is that she just pray for grace. and find a way of handling that attitude. Maybe they should seek counseling together so that they get to talk about that attitude. Because you see, here is somebody who's lived for 30, 20 years, 24, 25 years with this kind of behavior. There's no way you're going to change such a person when it comes to marriage. It won't happen. It won't happen that in a day you can change this person to be the kind of person you are. In marriage, you do adjustments. Yes, you compromise, you do adjustments, you throw some of your egos away. Sometimes your wife is like, why? Then you have to just throw it away and become a man and say sorry. Even when you feel like you shouldn't say sorry. Yeah, but you can't always have your way. So I think that if she thinks she loves the man, they should seek counseling. Talk about that attitude. If he can let go, fine. If he can't, she should be ready to bear it, or she should also let the man go.
Okay, that's fine. So, bro, what are you going to talk about?
In such situation, will you be able to handle it? Just as that said. Will you be able to handle it? There is this popular musician who died. I think in the process of courting, she saw such behaviors.
Even in marriage, you
Yeah.
saw it.
But how she was thinking that this man is going to change. Is that that's not possible. Growing
But you know,
with
people have a certain mentality by saying,
I'm going to marry the person so that
Yeah.
I will change the person.
I will change the person.
That's
You
not.
can't make the point. You can't. It's only the Holy Spirit that changes. Yes. You cannot change, and even that, He will not. He might not change the person to fit how you want him to be or her to be. So if maybe your boyfriend is alcoholic, you don't like alcohol, just let him go. It's either he chooses between you or the alcohol. And then let's see that this is genuine repentance. Somebody can stop drinking and marry you. After marrying you, you go back to drinking because it already put you into the thing. So that is why it goes back to the point that you should marry a friend, marry somebody you grew up with. Maybe we all grew up in church. They are Church of Pentecost members. You know that drinking is not part of us. So it's hard that one will drift. Yeah, it's hard. If someone drifts, maybe we pray that by grace you come back. You should know the person well before you take.
And then this one thing I want to say, if we want to bend the tree during the initial stage, that's where the parents should bend the tree and then try to shape the tree well. Not when the tree has grown to be like a log. That's you said I'm going to bend the tree. Is that possible?
So,
That's not possible.
and even in this situation, it's going to be like in their household, like that's how they used to behave to women. And that's how his father is used to behave to women. So, he has got to know that it's normal. And he's doing the same thing to his partner that has been found. So,
If your father has been doing this to your mother, does it mean that you should continue?
oh, but we learn from our people around us. That's what
We
we
learn
learn.
from people around us. But good things, we should learn and copy good things, not bad things.
Oh, but
Abusing
maybe-
women is not biblical. And then I think this man will be a Christian.
Actually, for okay, it don't even explain by saying they say
Yeah, he might belong to a certain religion.
Okay.
Either Christian or tradition or no religion teaches us to abuse each other. So if you are in such a relationship and then this man is trying to abuse you every time that you talk, if he will be saying I'm the head, where is head situated? The head is located on the neck.
Okay.
So if the head becomes heavy for the neck to bear, it is the head that will fall, not the neck. So we should try to adjust, and then if you know you can't control or accept this behavior.
So,
then it
because
will go.
of our time, let's run out by saying my last question. My last question is going to be like, um, is any agreement that you need to invite your partner into it, or to involve your partner in decision making?
Partner as in your wife. or your girlfriend
your wife. Now I've shift from there
to
to
a
the
relationship.
yeah to get to the marriage
So
position.
even in relationships, let me go relationship before I come to
Okay.
marriage. You don't need to disclose everything, but you don't have to be secretive.
Wow.
Yes.
Why?
So, yes, you don't have to hide so much, but you can't open everything. Yes, you can't open everything, but you don't have to. That's why I'm talking about maturity here. You know what to tell the person, what not to tell, what to reveal, what not to reveal. When it comes to issues of concern, that's maybe let's say you have a child out of wedlock, you have a child, the person does not know. That one, if you don't tell him or her now, in the future, it can bring a marriage break. So there are things that you need to tell. There are others that you may have to keep for a while. So in marriage, when it comes to marriage, and the two shall become one. There's no need keeping anything. Marriage is built on trust, even relationship. So there should be that kind of trust. That's notwithstanding, you should be careful what you are telling. I am not siding with you to hide everything. But sometimes it's not wisdom to say everything.
Yeah.
Let's say you've
It took
gone
wisdom.
to,
It took wisdom.
sorry,
It took wisdom for you to say everything.
yeah, you have to use wisdom to say everything. But it is not wisdom to say everything. I've said two different
ways.
things. Yes. So you can, it's good that you let the person know, but there's no wisdom. Let's say, if I have to calm down a little, you have a very jealous partner, super, super jealous. Something like, yes. And maybe one way or the other, um, I don't want to make an example that will get people confused.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that you have to use wisdom. Let the person know what,
In mind.
yes, what you have to know. I'm not asking you to be secretive. I'm not asking you to keep saying or be private about it. Open up things. Yeah, there are times that you open up to say certain things, but you know that the reception from your partner will be wrong.
Okay.
And that is the learning curve for you. You learn and know how to disclose other matters in the future, but it is not wise to hide everything.
Okay. So, um, this will be our last talk, and I'm going to let you say your last word.
My last words. Let Ima go first.
Okay. Bro, I say your last word to the
Okay.
audience. And
Right.
send your regards to everyone.
Okay. My last word for this interview is before you enter into any relationship, first you must be led by God.
Okay.
Uh, you must be led by God, take the counsel of God, and even in the church, if you decide to do something, and let's say the leadership of your church says this decision that we are taking is not going to help, because they have been in such a situation that before you need to take it, because the youth of nowadays, we don't like taking such things.
That one. I'm going to make it next talk
Yeah,
because when you're taking me to have a lot of questions in mind, but that's not applicable to me. So
yeah.
continue.
But let me complete. So you need to calm down and then listen to what they are saying, and then not all things that they say. Not all greatest are good. Yeah, so you should take good care and then in the selection, so that at the end, God will grant us the
So
grace.
add your greetings so that we do everything.
All right. What I have to say is thank you for your time, and then may the grace of God continue to be with you. And then in every decision that you make, let God comes into such decision.
Okay.
And then if you invite God into such decision, everything that you're going to do is going to be successful.
God bless you. So like your last word.
My last words for this session. Okay. So I just want to say to young people
Okay.
who are now entering marriage. Okay, me, I'm married. So, I can advise you is that you should be prepared. Prepare yourself mentally for marriage. See, marriage is not what we see on the TV. It's not what we see on the soap operas. It's not what you see in the kumkum bag. Yes, yes. It's not date rash and all that. It's not. It's not that. That is not marriage. You see, the reason why so many people enter marriage and they come out is the fact that they don't prepare. So when they get into marriage, there are a lot of shocks that come. So when the shocks come, they either run to their parents or go back to the court and sign out. And I want to advise you as a young person, getting ready for marriage. Even when if you are not even yet at the age, start preparing. You know that one day you will marry. Prepare your mind, grow your mind for everything that comes, the good and the bad. When we exchange vows at the wedding days, we say that for better, for worse. Unfortunately for us, in contemporary days, people will say that for better, for better. Some churches want to say for better, which we don't agree to. Because definitely there are going to be bad times and there are going to be good times. So prepare your mind. Pray to God. Choose a good person. Choose a friend. I always say that choose a friend. It is a bit better than to choose a stranger. Allow God to lead you. Choose a friend. Pray to God. You'll be fine. Let me add this. Get a counselor. Let me just give me 2 minutes to say this. Sometimes we get our old people saying that I've been married for 30 years. Nobody knows nobody has heard of me and my husband before. I don't
Understand?
I don't agree 100%. You see, for a marriage to be fruitful, or a good marriage is not dependent on the fact that nobody has ever sat on or sat ahead of you and your husband or discussed you before. That is not what tells that you're in a good marriage. Marriages differ. No two situations are the same. So when you hit the rock, when you get to a place where you find a difficulty, there's a challenge, get a God-fearing person, get a counselor, get somebody you can trust. You see, the purpose of getting a person is not to break your marriage, it's not to cause you a shipwreck, but rather to help you with an experience so that you can amend your ways. And it will be fine. Yeah, meet us.
So, who are you saying your regards?
My regards to everybody, especially the Church of Pentecost
Wow.
in Intra
Okay.
and you watching.
So God bless you for still be with us, and we are very grateful for you watching us to the end. You know one thing, for me to know that you have watched the video to the end, I want you to leave something big under the comment by leaving your number. We have something special for you. So God bless you and still be with us. I'll remind you, do not forget to subscribe it, like it, comment, and share. And your life is going to be transformed. Bye bye.